Congratulations, and we've been working with Youth Oasis this semester. So a little bit about Youth Oasis. It's an emergency children's shelter for youth ages 10 through 17. And the shelter provides pretty much everything that the children would need, including food, shelter, clothing, counseling. They take them to do activities, and they give them healthcare referrals. And the children's shelter is like one of two emergency children's shelters in the state of Louisiana. So Youth Oasis has been steadily increasing their performance over the last couple of years. In 2013, they had 1,490 beds for children. In 2014, they provided 2,330 beds. And in 2015, well, they're projected to provide 3,117 beds.
And this means like kids being able to sleep in a bed at night at the facility, not like they're giving away all these beds.
Yes. So the public opinion of Youth Oasis within the people who know about Youth Oasis is very high. Unfortunately, as you'll see a little bit later in our research, not a lot of people know about Youth Oasis. So the public research that we did, the first is our key publics. A little bit about them. It's basically Baton Rouge residents, ages 25 to 45, with an annual income of over $40,000. They have at least one kid, and they have at least a bachelor's degree. The customers of Youth Oasis are the youth who use the services that Youth Oasis provides, and also governmental agencies and social workers who go ahead and take advantage of the resources that Youth Oasis provides and stuff for the children. The producers of Youth Oasis are the staff and volunteers. They provide everything for the children, the food, the clothing, the tutoring. They come in and get tutoring and counseling and everything like that. The enablers are the state of Louisiana and the local regulatory agencies. They make sure Youth Oasis is up to code with all the regulations. And the local media is also an enabler, and they give coverage to Youth Oasis and what they're doing. The limiters of Youth Oasis are pretty much any other organization kind of taking money away from Youth Oasis. So like Trafficking Hope, the Shelter, and Healing Place Kids. The organization research, the internal impediments, basically it's the lack of funding to provide a full-time communication staff, public relations staff. The external impediments include the state agencies and political environment. They can cut funding if they want to, basically, and the weakening economy. If they don't donate as much if they don't have as much. The opposition, there's not really any direct opposition to Youth Oasis. However, they do openly support LGBTQ rights, and this could kind of cause some religious organizations to hold back on their support for Youth Oasis. The competition for Youth Oasis, basically any other organizations trying to get the money away from, not like away from, but instead of Youth Oasis donating to any other organizations. And a little bit about background. People don't really realize that youth homelessness is a problem in Baton Rouge. Youth Oasis has a lack of support from the community, and growing social media voice is not really a top priority for Youth Oasis. As a consequence, there's not really a sustained awareness of the organization in the community, and there's a lack of consistency and involvement from the community. And the resolution for these problems, the lack of time the organization devotes to developing and maintaining community awareness is a factor that should really change. They should put more time into that. And Youth Oasis should concentrate on growing its community presence in order to receive more donations and support. So, some of our research results. We chose a survey because it can get information, we could gather information from a large group of people in a short period of time. It's cost effective, it's flexible, it's extensive, and it's dependable. The demographics of some of our survey respondents: 65% of respondents live in the Baton Rouge area. 76 of respondents were female. 41 of respondents were between the ages of 25 and 45. 40% of respondents have an annual income of $40,000 or more. 50% of respondents were single, and 51% of respondents had children. The quadrants, we kind of already went over that. Awareness. So this is what really showed that Youth Oasis had a lack of awareness within the community. 65% of the respondents were unaware of what Youth Oasis was. 68 didn't know what services Youth Oasis provided. 75 were unaware of where homeless children seek refuge in Baton Rouge. 86 had never heard of Youth Oasis. 68 thought that homelessness was a problem in Baton Rouge, and 70% thought Youth Oasis was a problem in the United States. So this was basically the majority of participants and what they thought Youth Oasis was based on the name. They had a lot of their responses were like about youth and children, but they also had some where it was like salon, summer camp, spa, things like that. So that's obviously a problem. This one is showing what charities the respondents kind of were frequent donators. A lot of them were the church, United Way, food shelter, the Red Cross Food Shelter. Youth Oasis wasn't really mentioned. There's Big Buddy though. And in the past year, people donated to these organizations. Once again, Habitat for Humanity came up, Church came up, United Way, and most people actually said they didn't donate at all. So, yeah, not good.
Okay, honing in on our key publics research, we found that over half of the survey respondents were included in our key public. Just a reminder, it's people 25 to 45 years of age, men and women, who live in Baton Rouge and have an annual income of $40,000 or more, with a bachelor's degree and at least one kid. We found that a lot of them don't know about youth homelessness, like we said before. So 86% of the key public doesn't know where these homeless children go for refuge, and 90% don't know how many children's shelters there even are in Louisiana. 67% believe that it's a problem, of course, and 63 are likely to donate their time, 60% are likely to donate money, but the majority, 81%, are more likely to donate clothes, food, or actual items. We found that most people are neutral on the topic of Youth Oasis, but that's really because that they're not aware of what it is. So they don't have an opinion, positive or negative, either way. We found that our key public, what they do spend their money on are things like spa services, hair, nails, personal shopping stuff, pet care, lawn care, babysitting. So we took this into consideration when trying to reach out to these people, to bring them to our event and to tell them about youth homelessness. This is our target audience and the places we wanted to advertise the message. We found that our key public would most likely be persuaded by both facts and emotions. So instead of just using one or the other, we decided that statistics would really invoke people to want to get involved and donate, as well as emotional stories that can really pull on the heartstrings and get people to donate.
Right, so all of our research led us into our goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics. And just to get a grasp on where Youth Oasis stands, our position statement is that Youth Oasis is a emergency shelter serving children ages 10 to 17. And it's one of the only ones in Louisiana, and that when home is no longer a safe place, Youth Oasis serves in its place. The goals of our campaign: for our relationship goal, we want to increase awareness of Youth Oasis among its key publics, because clearly there's a dearth of awareness in Baton Rouge. Reputation goals: we want to correct misconceptions about Youth Oasis, because beyond not knowing what Youth Oasis is, people get the wrong idea about it. And our task goal: we'd like to increase funding to Youth Oasis through private donors. For our relationship goal to increase awareness, the objective is to increase it by 25% over the next year for the key public. And we're going to do this through publicity by using local newspapers, radio stations, televisions, as we did at the event, and further going forward to share facts about the mission of Youth Oasis and events in the future. To correct misconceptions, our objective is to increase the acceptance, specifically to inform the public about what Youth Oasis does by 10% within the next year, because we're kind of sitting at 0. To do this, we really want to utilize social media to reach as many people as possible and engage with them by posting on Facebook about not just Youth Oasis, but issues about homelessness in general, so people really begin to associate Youth Oasis with youth homelessness. And we'd also like to get some feedback from our audience, engaging them in dialogue to keep the interactions more likely to stick in their memory, for them to retain the information and accept it. Also, we're going to pair this with the awareness tactic and use publicity to push information out about Youth Oasis through traditional media. And then to increase funding, we'd like to do it by not 25%, but $5,000 within the next 12 months. And our strategies for doing that: first and foremost, we used our contacts at Big Buddy and Special Olympics to promote our event, and because 3 is better than 1. Like I said, the special events really drive people out to donate money and to give their time, and Youth Oasis holds several events throughout the year. And we'd really like to use transparent communication to communicate to potential donors exactly what Youth Oasis does and exactly where their money goes, because it does have a direct, I hand you $20, Raphael goes and buys the kids food. And so we'd like to keep that up to date and how the money is being spent on their social media and their website, and the donor cards also inform people where their money goes. And also, publicity can help in this by sending out press releases before and after events to make sure that there's the maximum amount of exposure.
So, implementing the strategic plan, this is how we implemented our campaign. So we assessed the shelter's current communication, assets and tactics to determine where we would like to see growth. We saw that they most needed help with maintaining media relations, developing a social media plan, and just general promotional efforts for the shelter to increase awareness. The theme of our campaign is children don't have price tags. 1 in 3 children are likely to engage in survival sex if they're homeless. And we just want to increase awareness of this, and that Youth Oasis is a safe haven for children like this to go to. So the messages that we were promoting on social media, statistical information about youth homelessness and the services that Youth Oasis provides to those youth in need. The messaging is meant to be both informative and emotional, so we're getting different appeals to get a reaction from the public. And to reach the key public with the message, we used pictures, infographics, and videos. So it's a little dark, but this was a screen grab from our video. I don't know where I'm sleeping tonight because the cops took Mom to jail today. we asked Raphael what the primary reasons that kids get brought into Youth Oasis, and we just have multiple posts like these that highlight some of the different issues. And then this post actually got a lot of engagement and resulted in donations. This was from last week when it got really cold. I think it was like last Monday night. And a woman commented on this and said, hey, I have shoes, blankets, and clothing. Where would you like me to donate it? And we replied and provided the address. And then also this is from the National Center of Coalition of Homelessness, and it's just statistical information that show people how important Youth Oasis services are. So we used a variety of channels to reach our key public, so traditional and non-traditional media to get the word out, so press releases and media advisories and social media messages. As far as marketing, we created an infographic, a promotional video, a pamphlet that can be used for the next year as far as updated information. And Thrive decided to address these issues through these 10 deliverables. So we created a social media plan. We wrote a post-event press release saying that the class in total had raised over $10,000. A media advisory prior to the event, a donation card that can be used in the future, a brochure, promotional video, newsletter, an annual report template, updated website copy, and the Raise the Roof fundraising event. So our social media plan, we compiled Facebook and Twitter posts that they can use throughout the next year. And these are primarily highlighting, statistics about youth homelessness, where kids are going on if they don't have a home, and we just have categorized posts by the month. So this was our press release that we sent out after the event and the media advisory that we sent before the event. This is the donation card that Tori designed for Youth Oasis. As you can see at the bottom, it has specific dollar amounts and what that goes toward. And we got a good response with these. People liked knowing that if they're donating $20, it can go to, food or a month bus pass for youth at the YARC. So it's just nice when people are donating, they know exactly what their money is going to. Tori also designed this informational brochure. They had an outdated brochure with inaccurate numbers of the past year, so we redesigned this. We took pictures at Youth Oasis that we can use on social media and the website that are just a little bit more high-res. And then here's our promotional video. I worked with students at McKinley for about 6 weeks to...
I was just saying turn the light off.
Oh, okay. In the theater department at McKinley to create this video.
I didn't go to school yesterday because Dad left too many bruises.
I didn't eat dinner last night because the rats ate all the scraps in the garbage.
I've been failing math because when I get home, my parents are too messed up to help me with my homework.
I don't know where I'm sleeping tonight because the police took Mom to jail today.
I couldn't go to sleep last night because Mommy's boyfriend keeps coming into my bedroom.
Today I went to school because Dad can't leave bruises anymore.
Thanks to Youth Oasis, I'm not hungry anymore. They provide me with 3 meals a day.
Thanks to the tutors at Youth Oasis, I'm passing math now.
I'm sleeping at Youth Oasis tonight until Mom gets help.
I don't have to worry about Mom's boyfriend anymore because Youth Oasis gives me a safe place to sleep.
So this video is just, a minute long, and we'd like to feature it first on the website once we get waivers signed by the children's parents, just so people can take a minute and look and see the main issues that bring kids to Youth Oasis. And also, there aren't many children at Youth Oasis. It's primarily teenagers. So by filming high schoolers, this is exactly who, the type of people that are in the shelter. We also distributed a newsletter through MailChimp for Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week in November. And we just highlighted fun around the shelter, so things that have been going on. You know, they went to Skate Galaxy, they went and ate pizza on the levee, and we just want donors to know that, you know, if they're donating $20, that's so a kid can go to Skate Galaxy for a night with their friends, and what's cooking around the shelter. So they had the Holy Crusaders come and cook Thanksgiving dinner for the kids, and then they have another group coming to cook Christmas dinner. So just thanking them and then featuring the event. So we would like to see monthly newsletters like this that just highlight what's going on at the shelter, because they're always doing stuff with the kids. And then Tori also designed an annual report template that Raphael said they really needed. And this just shows what they've done over the past year, highlights their mission, their values, and just overall says what they've done in the past year. And then Patricia rewrote the website copy. It was a little outdated. There were some grammatical errors. So we would just like to see this get put on the website.
So as far as our campaign, we wanted to kick it off with our event, Raise the Roof. It was at Tin Roof Brewery, you know, as y'all all know, because y'all were all there. But it was a huge success, and it's okay, you can go on. And here's just our total campaign budget. This shows employee salary, food, transportation, events, and that number is $677,600 for the entire year for our campaign. And so yeah, like I said, the event was a huge success. There were more than 200 attendees and raised the roof. I mean, we, as Youth Oasis, raised over $5,000. And most of our silent auction items were sold, except for a couple of vacation packages. Our first objective for our campaign is to generate a sustained awareness about Youth Oasis to increase by 25% over the next year. And then we sent out a survey at the beginning, and we would like to send out another survey to people that attended the event, Youth Oasis's email list already, and people that actually bid on our auction items, just to see if that awareness has increased by 25%. And we also wanted to look at our Facebook and social media. So this is a little bit about Facebook analytics, just showing October and November, and how once the event kind of kicked off, we started posting about the event. A lot more people shared and liked and commented on our Facebook. And so our second objective was to correct the misconceptions about Youth Oasis, because like y'all said, a lot of people thought it was a spa or, you know, a fun time. But so we just want to make sure that the follow-up survey not only shows awareness, but shows that people actually understand what Youth Oasis is and can, you know, really understand the message. And yeah, determine that it's not a spa. So this is just our third objective, which is to increase funding to Youth Oasis by $2,500. We exceeded that, and we brought in more than $5,000, which was awesome. And here's just showing where the money came from our event. 31% was our silent auction items, 61% came from our sponsors, which we all worked really hard on, calling different people and everything, and 8% was our t-shirts, the ones that we didn't wear, we sold, and donations and food trucks. And just some future recommendations. We did have a couple of vendors like pull out at the beginning, so we need them to, you know, sign an agreement that they're going to come before we print all of their stuff on our flyers and our banners and our t-shirts. And also the silent auction, you know, calling out the prizes was a bit confusing, so maybe we can work that as individual groups instead of just all at once. And here's our food trucks that came. We had Kona Ice, Pulled Pork, Fleur Delicious, and they all donated 25% of their proceeds. And then we had Bayou Bistro, which we had to serve, but it was great because they donated 100% of all the proceeds. That was amazing. And here's just a few things about our silent auction. Most of them sold for more than 75% of their value, which was great. And we only had a couple that weren't sold, so we were really happy about that. and to get out the event to our local community, because we did want to get our key publics in. We all promoted it on our Facebooks. You know, we worked with Castle and Big Buddy on that as well. We were featured on WBRZ News. There's anyone that came. And on the ride home with Jeff Johnson on the radio for 103.3, just kind of like saying, you know, getting the word out to the Baton Rouge community about our event. Dig BR, Round Town, which is kind of like a website showing what's going around your town. And Fabulous Mom blog also wrote about us, which was great. She kind of just put it in the media release, but it was great because, you know, that's our kind of our demographic. We wanted, you know, her viewers to see that in the Baton Rouge area. And so in conclusion, like we said, we created 10 deliverables for Youth Oasis in the future, and we brought more than $5,700. And we also made arrangements with local food vendors to donate food once a month for 6 months, which will be incredible for Youth Oasis. And here are just some pictures from the event. You're going too fast. They're good pictures. There are a lot of people here. Oh, and that's another thing too. The shirts that we didn't wear, we sold, and then the rest were donated to Youth Oasis. So that was awesome.